What, sweetie? The Fiesta? Nothing compares to you, you know that, right? I just got eyes for you. I mean, you're the most beautiful one out there. Hey, what the f you want? Go away! Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm kind of excited because I finally have the chance to review the Mini Cooper. I actually have a soft spot for Mini Coopers and I'll try to be as honest as possible, but it will be a little bit hard. With this being said, as always, I will review the exterior since it's more aggressive and it's less rounded than before. The interior, here we have an 8.8-inch unit, which is, in my opinion, the best in class. And of course we're going to see how it rides. Is the opportunity to higher up your seats so that you can see all the limits of the car and you have a complete visions about the bonnet. I'm Alessio and you're watching the Elliott Club. This is the 2022 model and it's the facelifted one, and I think they mastered it. I'm actually super happy with what they've done with this facelift because they actually listened to people. People were complaining about the last model because there was too much sheen, they said. Actually, I disagree with this opinion, but still, I think they did a pretty good job over here. I really appreciate how they decided to go for full LED headlights as standard. And now, actually, if you want the adaptive one, you just have to add only 400 euros for them. And to be honest, now that everything is almost blacked out, it looks way better in my opinion. In terms of side view of this car, actually nothing has changed apart from the mirror caps over here. They reshaped it in a very better way in my opinion, since it's more aggressive and it's less rounded than before. In terms of alloy wheels, this car comes as standard with 15 inches and this specific model has 17 inches. You can upgrade it until 18 inches, but you need to be aware about the comfort because the higher you go, the less comfort you will have, so bear it in mind. Speaking about brake performance, although it only has one single brake caliper, this car brakes really well. Another thing that is worth mentioning is that since it's a Mini and it's owned by BMW, most of the things that you will see here in this car are optional. As you can see over here, the blacked out windows, it costs 300 euros more, and it's a shame because in my opinion for this price tag it should come as standard. But of course it's a Mini, so it's mandatory to make it as cool as you can. And actually, speaking about coolness, look how beautiful these windows are. Speaking about the rear of the car, they didn't change that much. We still find the great Union Jack taillights over here, which by the way, it's full LED. And they just changed the lower bumper area over here with these little fog lights over there. Another cool feature that is worth mentioning in this Mini, that of course is optional, it's the keyless entry. It's so useful when you don't want to take your keys from your pocket, to just be close to the car and having the opportunity to open it up or close it up without the keys. Now let's be honest, if you buy a Mini, you buy it for the looks and for the way it drives. You don't buy it for the boot capacity. Indeed, here we just find 210 liters. And actually, if I have to be completely honest, is the smallest in the category. But actually, not everything about this boot is bad. If you want to carry some luggages, I mean at least the one that you can adjust the level of the lip over here by reducing it at the very minimum. And plus, the shelf fits inside, so if you want to carry higher items, you can do it easily. And actually, if you want to carry longer items, you absolutely can, because even though you own a Mini and maybe you just bought your plasma TV or your OLED TV, you can actually carry it inside because you can fold down the seats in 60/40 so that you have all the room that you need. Now, despite being a small car, this actually is a premium car. it fits in the premium small car segment. And you can totally see from the door panel over here, since everything you touch is actually made with soft touch materials, even here in the lower part. And actually this premium quality that you feel, you can actually feel it through all the cabin, not only on the door panel. Talking about the steering wheel, actually they made some changes. They reshaped it first of all, and actually I'm not a really big fan of it because they just added some piano black buttons here and there, which makes it a little bit cheaper than before. And I don't know, overall I feel that the last model was better. Now it's time for the horn test. I don't know why most of the reviewers don't do it, but actually for me it's too important, so let's check it out. Despite the ambient lighting is phenomenal in this car, there are some things that are not really so good, which for example is the lights over here are not LED. The lights in here are not LED, and it's a shame because for over 25,000 euros, most of the competitors offers those as LED as standard, so I don't know why many didn't do it yet. Speaking once again about premium quality, everything you touch in this cabin is soft touch, extremely squishy, extremely solid, really well made, nothing wobbles at all. So I think overall this is a great cabin to stay in for longer trips. And yeah, you have all the comfort that you need in a modern car and even more. Now, most of the competitors offer digital dials as standard, for example, Apollo or a Peugeot 208. Mini doesn't. We have the standard dials over here with a little LCD display in here, but actually if you want the modernized one and way better in my opinion, digital display, you have to pay more. Now, you need to be aware that you are buying a Mini, so you don't have to expect that much of room inside. An example is here. We have a 1.5 liters bottle over here that doesn't fit in the door bin at all. And also in the cup holder over here, it won't fit at all. Now, even though the door bin and the cup holder are not really roomy, the glove box is fine. Of course, it will fit the bottle, but not only the bottle. If you have some snacks or you're carrying something else, maybe your Nutella biscuits, you can fit it inside and have the snacks as many times as you want. Now let's talk about the most important thing nowadays for a car in terms of technology, which is the infotainment system. Here we have an 8.8-inch unit, which is, in my opinion, the best in class. There is no other cars in the small compact segment or even in higher model. I'm talking about a Volkswagen Golf, I'm talking about a Polo, of course, a Fiesta, a Peugeot 208. Nothing came even close to this. This is basically the BMW unit with the design of the Mini, and it's brilliant. It's super fluid, super responsive. You can do basically whatever you need in it. You can connect your phone with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the wireless connectivity, or also with, of course, the USB port. It's super fast. It will seem like you are using a smartphone for how fast it is. There is nothing else to say about this. It's just the best in class. Always because we are talking about the Mini and we are talking about cool factors. Here is one example. As you can see, we have a full LED ring over here that changes the color as soon as you turn up or down the volume of a song. We have to mention also that we have the dual zone climate control, which is automatic, and it comes as optional, not as standard. And we also have the optional driving mode selection over here, which is Sport, Green and Mid. Of course, Sport is for sportier settings and immediate response to the throttle. Mid is like regular car, and Green is for reducing the consumption of the fuel. We do also find, of course, a 12-volt socket over here, and also a regular USB port in here. Actually, if you go for the optional Type-C, you can add also the Type-C in it. Now, in this specific model, we still find the manual transmission, but if you want it, you can add as optional dual clutch automatic transmission with 7 speeds. And even though the infotainment unit is totally touchscreen, you can still operate via these buttons here if you don't want to use the touchscreen. But to be honest, I have to mention that as you can see over here, we have the armrest, so it's a little bit hard to reach the manual controls over here. So in my opinion it's kind of useless and it's better if you use the touchscreen. Now talking about the armrest, actually it's pretty comfortable. The only problem is that if you open it up, as you can see here, first of all, you can add as optional the wireless charging in here, but the main problem is that it's not as big as you might need, because for bigger phone, for example an iPhone 13 Pro Max or a Galaxy S22, they won't fit inside. So even though you added the additional charging point here, you won't be able to use it. Now I'm 5.6 feet tall and I'm super comfortable here. The seats are fine, I have plenty of room for my head, plenty of room for my knees. The only problem is that being a Mini means that the room inside is not really that spacious, so for taller people this might be a problem, especially for the headroom. Also here we do not find the panoramic roof, but if you decide to go for the panoramic roof, the headroom will be even less. You don't find any air vents at all here, or even not a USB port or a Type-C port, but you can find 3 cup holder divided, one per side. Now the only problem with the rear of this car is that, in my opinion, it's such a shame that they didn't bring the LED lights in here for ambient lighting in the back, because I think it's a really cool option and I think that the passengers that you're carrying would like to have it too. Now let's see how this little Mini rides. Like most of you guys already know, when you buy a Mini, you buy it because of the cool factors and for how it rides. The point is that Mini have become famous due to their go-kart feeling. Even though the go-kart feeling has been a little bit lost during the years, these cars drives really well. The suspensions are firm, and to be honest, the wind noise is not even too much. Having the opportunity to switch between 3 different drive modes helps a lot. When you select sports mode, it instantly delivers all the power that you need, and as you might know already, this Cooper comes with a 1.5 liters with 136 horsepower. So you have all the power that you need for doing an overtake. If you don't want to exaggerate with power, you can select the mid version of the 3, and you have a pretty much balanced car with a not so hard steering wheel. If you select for green mode, actually you will have a steering wheel which is way smoother and way lighter, but also the response won't be so instantaneous. In terms of fuel consumption, as you might remember for the past models, Mini Coopers were well known for consuming a lot. This is not the case. The average that I got is 7.1 liters every 100 kilometers, so it's not that bad. One thing that I absolutely love about this car that not so many cars have, not even the bigger one, is the opportunity to higher up your seats so that you can see all the limits of the car and you have a complete vision about the bonnet. I think that it's a great thing since it's important for safety reasons. When you go higher than 100 kilometers per hour, you'll feel all the wind noise above the mirror caps, which is a little bit annoying. But overall, you will enjoy the ride inside this Mini Cooper because it's pretty fun to drive. This car weighs over 1,100 kilos, and due to the low weight, it can go from 0 to 100 in 8.2 seconds. And I think it's great because even cars that have much more horsepower, like for example 150, 170, don't cover this 0 to 100 in such a short time. Now this model, as I said before, has a manual transmission with 6 gears. Changing gears is super smooth and the transmission itself is super crispy, so it's a really well made manual transmission. One of the cool things about this car is that even though it only has a 1.5 liters with just 136 horsepower, it's extremely quirky and it gives you instant power as soon as you put down the foot on the accelerator. No matter in which gear you're in, the car will give you instant power no matter what. Another cool option that you can choose from the optional list is the head-up display, which is not very common for this kind of category of car. It basically shows up in a screen in front of you all the informations about driving. For example, the speed limits and the speed you are going in that moment. But unfortunately it costs over 400 euros. So I don't know if it's worth it or not. Another thing that is worth mentioning is that even though the speaker of this car works really well, you can upgrade it with the Harman Kardon speakers. That sounds incredible. Another cool feature that this car has that might be found in way bigger car is that when you go in reverse, Both mirrors, depending on which you decided for, goes directly down to show you the wheels so that you don't stretch it while parking. Cool, isn't it? Now, what do I think about this 2022 Mini Cooper? I think that the facelift is on point. The car, of course, is beautiful as always. And I don't think there are actually so many competitors for it. If you want a Mini, you will go and buy a Mini anyways. Yes, maybe there will be the Fiat 500 in maybe the 595 Abarth, or maybe the 208 or the Polo, but I don't think that anything comes even close to the exterior and interior quality of this car. And what about you? What do you think about this car? Do you agree with me or not? Comment down below and tell me your opinion, and if you like the videos, please put a like. I'm Alessio, and of course you watch the Elio Club.